Patriots have started their voluntary off-season workout program, focusing on the word voluntary. Tom Brady is not there because voluntary and maybe other reasons. But don't worry, he's still working on his kicking game in Qatar.
That's a hell of a kick.
Barefoot.
That's impressive.
Right?
Man, his approach is a little suspect.
Leave it to you, Greg Jennings. Focus on the approach. The guy's wearing short shorts and barefoot. You're worried about the approach and stance.
No, I definitely couldn't do that.
No, that's impressive, man.
He didn't kick it in the water. I mean, that's on the line.
It's on a line. Looks like about 35 yards. You need to be careful because it says people looking for him. People looking for Tom Brady. Oh, the sketch. Oh, I got it. It took me a second. I got it. Well done, CC.
What are we laughing at?
There's a sketch of... I went to the bathroom. It's storming outside. Yeah, we'll tell you after the break.
Okay.
Yes.
There's like, I have a list of things you need to tell me.
He looks like someone that the authorities might want to question. Ask Steph. Yeah, she'll understand.
All right, you got it.
Good joke, Steve.
I'm annoyed. I didn't get it. Speaking of Tom Brady, the Patriots might be looking for his replacement in the draft. According to a report, the Patriots have expressed interest in drafting Josh Rosen. Yeah. This amid reports that Tom Brady hasn't committed to playing in 2018 and that other reports that the quarterback wants to rework his contract. Greg, should the Patriots go all in to build around Tom Brady, or should they focus on his eventual replacement? Which direction do you think this franchise should be going in?
This is an interesting question. They already are all in on Tom Brady. They are all in on, when you're on a roster and you are the guy, we're all in on you. Now, do they need to add some pieces because they have gotten rid of some pieces? Yes, but are they all in on Tom Brady? Yes, they're all in on Tom Brady, but they understand the business. I have to prepare for my future. And when I'll compare it to a situation in Green Bay. Brett Favre kind of did this to the Green Bay Packers, where every offseason began to now become, and I'm not saying this is what Tom Brady is doing, but now, is he going to come back? Is he not going to come back? The older you get, the more committed a team has, the more committed you have to be to the team versus the team being committed to you. Meaning, I need to know, are you in or are you out? Because we're in on you. We just need to know if you're in on us. And so with this, with Tom Brady getting older, him not being there, that's no issue. But my concern is if this continues to happen every year now, off season, now all of a sudden we want to know, is Tom going to come? Is he all in this year? Is he playing? They can't play that game. So they have to go all in on a quarterback. They have to.
A quick follow-up. If you are going after a quarterback, you're still all in on Tom Brady?
Yeah, you're all in. Your quarterback's not going to start. He's not going to start. He's going to sit behind Tom Brady. He's going to learn for a year or two whenever Tom decides to hang it up. But I have to prepare now. They lost Jimmy Garoppolo, who was their future backup plan to Tom Brady. He was right there in the wake, going to take over, smooth transition. That didn't happen. Now they're scrambling, and they have to find a guy who can at least be an understudy for whatever time they possibly can have behind Tom Brady.
The Patriots, they have on their board in their draft room right now, they have off-season needs. Lost Nate Solder. We need a left tackle, either through free agency or the draft. One of those needs is they need a backup quarterback. They also potentially, in that, they need a quarterback of the future. So in trying to develop this year's team, which they're going to try to win the Super Bowl, they're also going to try to develop a team for 2019 and 2020 because they know they're still going to be competitive. So they will handle both of them within each other. If you look at the two last off seasons, New England has gone all in. Yeah, man, they made draft. Man, they was trading people. They got a receiver in Brandon Cooks. They traded for another defensive lineman. They thought would pan out. Like, they have been all in on Tom Brady. But just because you decide to draft a quarterback, that don't mean they're not all in on Tom Brady.
I agree. Just if they use one of those second-round picks on Mason Rudolph, or we're gonna have Joel Klatt on later in the show. He likes the quarterback out of Richmond. Like, if they use if they don't trade up and they use a second-round pick on one of those guys, then you're still all in on Tom Brady. The Josh Rosen discussion, unless people think Rosen's going to have an Aaron Rodgers-esque fall in the draft, the Josh Rosen discussion is about, would you package 23 and 31 and maybe something else to move into the top 10 to go get this quarterback. And that, if I'm Tom Brady, is not what I want to see this team do. I do not want to see this team, when I'm 41 years old, use picks that could net me 2 or 3 contributors this year.
At 41, don't you think Tom knows that this year's
absolutely.
draft, like
it's time.
That this year's hold on. That this year's draft, what? I just want you to finish your
this
thought.
year's draft, like his replacement is coming out this year's draft?
Well, the thing is,
Greg and I have been there. We know it's coming.
It's coming.
98, they drafted Randy Moss. How long do you think I had there in New England? There in Minnesota?
Well, you ended up having, what, 5 more years?
Because I was a great player.
Right.
And because of my prime had been extended. That's the only reason. That's the only thing that held him on.
Right,
and with acquiring Randy Moss, you never really looked at the rearview mirror saying, oh, this guy is just going to flat out. No, I'm going to do I'm going to do me, but knowing this is the future.
But there's also, with the wide receiver position, obviously 2 guys get to play at once. And you know how highly I regard your playing career. But I mean, Tom Brady also, a great player. Like a guy who obviously has talked
If all the rumors about Tom Brady and him being paranoid of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
No, why don't...
But that's it.
Of course,
that's the same point.
That lets you know he was conscious of it.
Of course, but that's which is why...
If he was conscious of it 2 years ago...
Even more conscious of it now, which is why I think it's one thing if they do what they did with Jimmy. Spend a second-round pick on a quarterback. Need a backup quarterback. Need potentially a quarterback in the future. If the Patriots package picks to move into the top 10 to draft a quarterback, that is sending a strong message to a guy who has said, I want to play Tom 45.
Look, yesterday, man, we talked about Aaron Rodgers, what the organizations do. Now we're talking about Tom Brady. Like, things just don't work like this, Nick. All right? They have to go. When Tom made that documentary, Tom vs. Time, he didn't think the people in business with him are watching that. They would be idiotic not to. And if they think Josh Rosen, they have him rated that high, and if they can get him for those 2 number ones, those 2 number ones ain't gonna do them that much good. They need to get the quarterback of the future and get it right now.
What kind of blows me away about this is it happens every single year. All 32 teams are doing the same thing the New England Patriots are getting ready to do. They're looking for their future quarterback. I don't care who you... The Green Bay Packers are a prime example of having not really taken advantage of grabbing a quarterback that they feel can be the successor to Aaron Rodgers. The New England Patriots had done that. In losing Garoppolo, now they have to do that again. And they're more pressed to do it now because of the age
That's why
factor.
you can't wait on the second round.
No, you cannot.
Because your quarterback's going to be 41.
That's why the question is, are you all in or are you looking towards the future? Because if you're all in, maybe you don't worry about that because you know he's going to be there. You have a guy who could at least stand in the pocket, and you go get a guy that can help you this year. That's all in.
My point is they are already all in on Brady. He's going to be their guy. He is their guy.
But all in means trying to win again this year. Get a guy that could actually play this
They have
year.
other responsibilities. You guys are trying to jam too much. There's other responsibilities besides Tom Brady. And that is, we need a quarterback of the future. And because of what happened with Garoppolo, they are in crisis now. They must get a franchise quarterback in this year's draft. There's not a lot of franchise quarterbacks in the second round.
I totally agree, and I have not sat here and said, you guys know how much I like this particular quarterback, Josh Rosen. I have not sat here and said, I wouldn't do that if I were New England. If I were New England and I could get Josh Rosen, and we could do a Favre to Rodgers, Montana to Young, Manning to Luck type of handoff, that is the golden scenario. I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I am simply saying, if I were Tom Brady, and I'm making $14 million a year, and I'm considering, even if it's just slightly, retirement already, you go out and trade those picks for Josh Rosen, that pushes me a hell of a lot closer to the retirement bucket than the I want to keep playing for another 3 or 4 years bucket, because it tells me the team is already considering me, like, closer to the retirement.
Well, they have to
Nick,
know
what
that.
else they go? Nick, you had him before the season. No guy in NFL history. No guy we have never seen at 39. Hold on. No, hold on. Hold on.
Right.
That's all you did, Nick.
I agreed, which is why if I were running the Patriots, this might be the move I would make. I'm simply saying if I'm Brady, and I just did a documentary saying I want to play till I'm 45. And we almost won the Super Bowl last year. Maybe we would have if we had another defensive back, another player. And you're going to package a bunch of picks to go get a guy that while I'm here won't see the field? Like, of course. Like,
Okay, do you believe Tom Brady's going to play this year?
I do believe he's going to play.
All right, do you believe he's going to play next year?
In 2019?
That's the next year.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure I understood the question. I think what they do in this draft could affect that.
Your hesitation right there lets you know you got to get a franchise
Absolutely.
quarterback. When you don't have an answer, you got to get yourself a quarterback.
Cece, but we don't disagree on that. My point is this.
This is your problem. Stop being Tom Brady. Tom Brady knows they're going to get a replacement for him. So if you were thinking like Tom Brady wouldn't be surprised at all if they packaged those two and went up and got, if they thought there was a guy they were in love with, Tom Brady would not be shocked at all if they did that. So if you're thinking like Tom Brady, you need to think that way, like a football player.
And just to add, really, Tom Brady has always used something to fuel him every single year. What would be different now? Nothing. You go get a first-round guy, you package some deals together, and you go get a first-round guy, you sit him in the room, and you expect me to teach him and tutor him and to replace
Every move that you're doing is not based on trying to win this year's Super Bowl. You can't be just stuck on this year. Football is not going to end after this year. When Tom Brady retires, football is not going to end. You have to plan for the future so you can be totally in bed with Tom Brady and also thinking about the future. You can't run an NFL franchise. You can't be one of the most successful franchises in sports history, the Krafts and Belichick, if you are not thinking that way.
All right, we got to leave it right there. Greg, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Appreciate it. Up next, get back to LeBron James. Will he ever lose another playoff game for the rest of his life? That's next on First Things First.
I know the preacher's son's here, but if you're in bed with Tom Brady...